my daughter. Yeah. Azu, you are wrong. Brought this yellow man with the standard. This one with, they say we are harassing me, but this guy are harassing. Who bring this yellow man from the port? We are going to talk about port matter. What do you want? You want to go report that to your boss? No, so. How are you?
Let's kick start.
Yes, okay. Best percent.
Okay, so good morning, guys. Good morning, colleagues from the MK fraternity. Can I have your attention now? So once again, thanks for honoring our invitation to the press center this morning. As you are aware, we are at the last month of the year, which happens to be in December. And with you guys being with us right from January to December, it is right, or the onus lies on us to give you an update or happenings at the port with regards to the year under review. And so the Importers and Exporters Association, as part of our advocacy work, please, as part of our advocacy work, has thought it wise to update you on happenings at the port with regards to government performance and also that of the service providers. And so by the close of this press briefing, we are abreast with information on what has transpired at the port from January to December, and also government's promises that were made during the campaign time in 2024, and though government has honored those promises. And so with not much ado, I would like to invite Mr. Samson Asaki Awingobit, who happens to be the president or the executive secretary of the association. My name is Philip Akute Azu, and I'm the media liaison for the association. So please kindly be on alert and or be ready to take whatever Mr. Awingobit has for us this morning. Thanks once again for coming.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Our friends from the media, we are partners in national development. Without you, our message cannot be out there. And so we, on behalf of my association and my national executives, we are always glad to have you in our midst. because you help us to disseminate our informations and our concerns out there to government and to our key stakeholders and policymakers as well. Before I proceed, my media legend should have done some introduction about my board members who are with me here. So I will take a few of them to introduce, and then we can proceed. I think protocol deserves the same thing. So I have with me Francis Ainato Bernard. If you come to Ashama, they call him Francis Sanaki. They import tires, used tires and tractors into the country. So Francis. We have Ametape, he's a chartered accountant. Also work with one of the biggest companies in Ghana here. He's a member. Mr. Ametape. You have with me Daniel Mensah, one of the directors of the Import and Exporters. And the last but not the least, Apia and Unko. Others are on their way coming. So, my name is Samson Asaki Awingobit. For those of you who probably haven't met me or the first time of meeting me, and for your record's sake, so it's Awingobit. The way you normally spell the Awingobit, it's not Awingobit. It's not B-E-T. It's Awingobit. B-I-T. I see that. And Asaki is not it's not A-A-S-A-K-I. I see that most of the times on your platforms. It is A-S-A, capital A. It's a name, so it's a noun, correct? I know English people are here. Mr. Kwane and Go are here. So it is capital A-S-A-K-I. That is my surname. It's Asaki. But you rather use my name that my father named me to be my surname, Awingobit. So it is, and my Samson is not with P, it is with capital S-A-M-S-O-N. So for those of you who have been my friends from Canada, if you look most of the time, that's the name. They give me A-A-S-A-K-I. So I'm sure it was an error in one of my complimentary cards, and they picked it. I'm thinking. So for that correction, thank you. I hope you've taken it in good faith. Statement by the Importers and Exporters Association of Ghana on the 2025 Business Performance Review and current happenings in Ghana port sector. And I think my media liaison has made this abundantly clear to us. In Accra here on the 18th of December 2025, good morning, distinguished members of the press, stakeholders in the ports and the trade sector, and invited guests. On behalf of the Importers and Exporters Association of Ghana, we have convened this press conference to do three things. Ladies and gentlemen, to provide a clear year in review of port sector performance and trade facilitation development. Highlight in the macroeconomic shift affecting the cost of doing businesses, and address recent public reports about a planned artificial intelligence AI system solution at Ghana's port and the implications of for the trade. Data security and revenue assurance. Let me state from the outset, we support modernization, but we also insist that any modernization in the port and customs space must be credible, transparent, secured, and fully aligned with Ghana's national trade system, especially the ICOMs. Ladies and gentlemen of the media, the year in review, port operations and revenue mobilization. Distinguished guests, Ghana ports remain the backbone of our international trade and a major engine of national revenue. On customs and revenue mobilization,
data available to us indicates an improved performance of the integrated customs management system items in terms of government revenue collection. Ladies and gentlemen, compared to the 2024, I can state here and now that custom revenue has increased to $3 billion. And those of us who are aware that we went to IMF in 2023, right, or 2022, for an IF bill, it was $3 billion. Is that not it? And that ended up as in domestic exchange programs. So customs so far has the revenue has increased to $3 billion, 179,125,338.11 cents. That's the revenue so far. As at September 2025, so we haven't brought October, we haven't brought November, we haven't brought December, but we have made already $3 billion, $179 million, $125,000, $238.11 as at September 2025, I repeat. Up from last year, 2024, January to December, ICOM gave us $3 billion, $108 million, $226,000.40. So if a whole year of 2024 we made $3 billion, $108 million, and January to September alone we have made $3 billion, 179. Have you seen the difference? I'm sorry, we have all seen the difference. Good. This reflects sustained revenue flows from trade facilitation activities. Ladies and gentlemen, we also acknowledge that technical challenges were experienced in ICOMs, particularly intermittent access issues, which affected operation stability for stakeholders. These concerns have always been addressed through collaborative effort with Ghana Link, including the establishment of a new central data system, workspace, improved service delivery, and system resilience. And I'm told in the month of August and September, you heard there was so much downtimes in the port, said that we have issued statement and we push ICOMs to the extent that the Minister of Trade has convened a meeting. Those of you who were there at After House there, and they told us yes, they began the data they underestimate, but they realized that the institutions on their system now were so huge that they have to construct a new data center. As we speak with you, they are testing it in somewhere in the Asante region. And as we speak from October to now, workflow is systematically. And the data is here in Ghana. We did not give the data like what happened at the Ministry of Health, where the current Minister of Health have to come and say that Ghana health data was sitting somewhere. And anytime the service provider want money, you guys go and track it and say that suppliers or operators want money. If you don't pay them, and we have a problem. You hear that in. This data is sitting here, right here in Ghana here, our trade data. Ladies and gentlemen, let me emphasize this point, that digital infrastructure setbacks can disrupt efficiency, but the response by the system operator and key stakeholders reflects a shared commitment to strengthen port operations and sustaining continuity. Our friends in the media. Furthermore, reports from port authorities indicate that operational reforms, including the 24-hour terminal operations, have improved cargo handling capacity and throughput. When we say throughput, meaning the containers that are coming into the country and going out, making Tema Port more competitive as a regional hub. Continuous operations have enhanced clearance and offered tangible trade facilitation benefits for importers and exporters. So the 24-hour in the port as we speak now, we can clear 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m., 5 a.m., and some will go and be sleeping, and some will come back 6 a.m., 7 a.m., up to 12, up to 1 p.m. That's how we now work. We work all around. Gone are the days that they will say that agent will say that we've gone to Golden Jubilee after 5, and they said they have closed. No. So the port is now working 24 hours, and the security is top notch. Security is top notch at the port. So, Mr. President, President of the Republic of Ghana, President Mahama, who brought this idea to us, we thank you, because people used to pay demurrage and rent, because if they close or you cannot clear, and the container have to occupy a space like the way the team is occupying, when daybreak you can pay as much as 4,000, 3,000 for just for one night. And so that is a savings to the business person. We are working, unless you are not ready to take your cargo from the port. So 24 hours economics is working in our port here. Ladies and gentlemen, macroeconomic development supporting the ports and business sector. We must place port performance in its broader economic context, because the traders' reality is shaped not only by port operations, but also by taxes, exchange rate, inflations, and interest rate. You know about that. Anytime the exchange rates try to dwindle, it causes fear and panic on us, and we started raising issues. So we cannot discuss the operation of the year in review without discussing those things. The abolition of the COVID-19 levy and the VAT reforms. We want to thank government for that. We commend the government action in removing the 1% COVID levy, health recovery levy, and adjusting the VAT rate from about 21.9% to 20% under the 2026 tax reform structure, and aim at supporting businesses' competitiveness. These changes are expected to ease financial burdens on traders and restore confidence in Ghana port competitiveness. Not only to ease the burden of traders alone, we as consumers as well will also benefit. And that is why if you go to the market today to buy goods, comparing the same period in 2024, you will see that there's a substantial, drastic reduction of prices of goods and services. Indeed, the cooking oil, the yellow gallon that used to cost about 1,300 is now about, I think, 550 or 600. You can see the 5 kilogram of rice that used to go by 160 or 150 today is running between 60 Ghana cedis. That is the safety that you see. And I'm sure you're aware of the inflation rate, ladies and gentlemen, that the government brought it from 28 to 6. What it means is that when you're carrying 20 cedis, it now value as when it used to be 28% inflation rate or 54% inflation rate. You may have 100 Ghana cedis, but you have nothing in your hand. Prime rate have also come down. You are aware about that. Ladies and gentlemen, currency stability and foreign exchange. In the period under review, the Ghanaian cedi has demonstrated relative stability and appreciations against the US dollar, strengthening from previous period of severe depreciation. As of mid-December 2025, the official Bank of Ghana interbank exchange rate is approximately 11.48 to the dollar. And we know by this time last year, the rate at which we were converting our dollar to the cedi. You know the rate. And that's to 11.48 to the $1. Showing notable improvement from historic low above 15 cedis per dollar earlier in the year. And we know that before President Mahama took over office, the dollar was hovering around 13, 14, 15 dollars about. At the port, and I'm happy that Iron Port is here, we are using about 13, 14 calculation duty. From the month of April to the month of August, it was consistently 10.2. Then it came to 11 point something.
This alone, where importer used to pay 400,000 to clear one frozen food container, came down. You can imagine. Where we used to pay about 200 or 250 to clear Honda Civic, CVR Honda, you know that car. Now you know where the duty is. It has come down drastically, and it's good for the economy, good for consumers as well. You can now purchase a car at not the rate that we used to buy same time period last year. No, it's not like that again. Ladies and gentlemen, these gains, the gains reduce foreign exchange costs for importers, particularly those reliant on USD for freight and port charges, and they signal improved macroeconomic management. Inflation and interest rate trend. Headlines inflation has shown sharp drop over the course of the year, with recent data indicating a significant drop to around 6.5% to 8%. By November 2025, reflecting an easing of price environment for businesses and households. Similarly, the Bank of Ghana has reduced its policy rate and reference interest rate, easing the cost of credit and supporting liquidity in the bank. And we thank the Bank of Ghana, the Governor of Bank of Ghana and his management team and the staff. We thank the Minister of Finance and his team. We thank the good boss and their team for putting this fiscal prudent in our economy, and so far so good. Taken together, declining inflation, improved exchange rate stability, as I told you, and the reduction in borrowing cost. These trends contribute to a more predictable business environment for traders and investors alike. And so investors are now have the confidence to come and invest because we have stability, political stability, security stability. These are the 3 or 4 dramatic areas that investors look when they want to invest into your country. So we have economic stability, currency stability, political stability, security stability, isn't it? Yeah. And so we want to use this opportunity to woo investors to come to Ghana. Ghana is the gateway to West Africa indeed. Recommendations and calls for continued policy support. Ladies and gentlemen, on balance, this economic development alongside reforms impacting trade, revenue mobilization and financial stability justify the confidence we hold in the direction of Ghana policies framework for trade and businesses. Ladies and gentlemen, we state that the improving businesses environment under the current administration has breathed new life into commerce in the first year. And that's true. You can see that there's no noise in town. Everywhere, that ding. However, we also emphasize that more work remains, and we call for continued policy support in 3 critical areas: greater foreign exchange availability for importers and exporters to support timely trade transactions, concessions or targeted support mechanism to cushion local businesses against external shocks. So what it means is that the AGI and their members, those who are manufacturing, we need to produce more here, isn't it? We need to also add more value to our product and export and bring forex back into the country, isn't it? That's the way to go. To make our economy very resilient, very strong, I think we have to advocate as the lead advocate in the country, import and export businesses. We are saying that governments should cushion, especially those who are into manufacturing, those who are into adding value to their products so that we export more proceeds. That is the way we can have further and more stability in our currency. However, we also emphasize that more work remains, and we call for continuing policy support in 3. Okay, that's the one I guessed it. That's the one. Sorry, that's the one I guessed it. So sustain reforms to make Ghana operations truly world-class and more competitive within the West African sub-region. The 15 cities at the port, as it's supposed not to be, but if the inflation were so glaring as it used to be, definitely the government would have seen huge much revenue they are collecting, but because the inflation is affecting them, they cannot even make savings in that domestic exchange that they are paying. The savings that they've made, the gains that they've made, So the appreciation of the city that's why there will be a little bit dip. They will see a dip in revenue, but they see the numbers huge. Throughput. I used the word throughput when I was reading. If you listen to what I was reading, I thought that the number of containers that are coming to the Ghana. So, but the stability, and I made example that if you were paying duty of 500,000, and because the stability at using 10 cities, and now we're using 10.2 for a very long time, the duty will not be the same thing.